Good afternoon, everyone. I am Christina Dali from the Department of ECE, SNS College of Technology. In this lecture series, I'm going to discuss about the topic in pulse modulation. So before entering into the pulse modulation, the first thing we have to know, what do you mean by a pulse? So here we are going to transmit the signals in the form of the pulses. The pulses, it is nothing but the discontinuous signals. Here we are using some of the special techniques in this pulse modulation. So we are having various types of modulations, that is pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation, pulse position modulation, and pulse code modulation. So these are all the various techniques we are going to see in this lecture series. So the next thing we are going to see about the types of pulse modulation. So in types of pulse modulations, we are having two types. One is analog pulse modulation, another one is digital pulse modulation. So in analog pulse modulations, we are having pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation, pulse position modulation. In digital pulse modulation, we are having pulse code modulation, delta modulation. So this is the block diagram of the pulse amplitude modulation. So here we are applying the analog signal as the input to the gate. The gate, it is nothing but the digital signal. We are applying the pulses at the sampling frequency. So both is given as the input to the AND gate, and the output will be in the form of pulse amplitude modulation. It is given to the pulse shaping network, and finally it is given to that of the FM modulator. So we are obtaining the output in the form of analog signal, and here we are applying the input in the form of analog signal, and the output will be in the form of the amplitude modulated pulses. So this is the output of this PAM. When we are coming to that of the pulse width modulation, so here the amplitude is constant, but the duration or the length or width of each pulse is varied in accordance with the instantaneous value of the analog signal. So here I am applying the analog signal. The carrier signal will be in the form of pulses. Here the amplitude is constant in pulse width modulation, but the width is varied. So how it varied means with respect to that of the instantaneous value of the analog signal. So here the negative side is brought to the positive side by adding the fixed voltage. The next one we are going to see about the pulse position modulation. So here in the sampled waveform, it has the fixed amplitude and the width. The position of the each pulse is varied according to the instantaneous value of the analog signal. So here the PPM signal is further modified into the PWM signal. So here we are having the PWM pulse and the negative pulse corresponding to the edge of the positive pulse. So this is the differentiation of the PAM, PPM. Another one will be your PWM. So it is nothing but the analog signal, amplitude modulated pulses, with modulated pulses. Another one will be your position modulated pulses. So here we are applying the analog signal as the input. So in amplitude modulated pulses, the amplitude is varied. So according to the width, with respect to that of the analog, the width is varied. So in position, according to that, the analog signal, the position is varied. So this is the difference between the pulse amplitude modulation, pulse position modulation, and pulse width modulation. So while coming to that of the conclusion, the PAM, PWM, PWM, and PPM are the fundamental analog and digital modulation techniques that has been used primarily in communication and control system. So each has its unique method. PAM is easy to implement. PPM provides better noise performance, and PWM is ideal for the power control and the digital signal applications. So these are all the assessment thing. In PAM, the information is encoded in the amplitude of pulses. Which modulation technique is more susceptible to noise means PAM. When compared to that of the pulse position and pulse width modulation, PAM has the more susceptible to the noise. So these are all the assessment things we have seen in this. Thank you.